In today's video, we are gonna turn this into a guitar pedal. We are gonna put it into this little box here, which you probably know what it is, but it's a channel switcher Marshall pedal that you can get and use with your amp sometimes, if your amp allows that. Now, before we begin, one thing I want to point out real quickly, because some of you might find this to be odd and weird, or odd and weird is what I'm trying to say. God damn it. Words are hard. DHS is right about that. If he's right about anything. Anyway, this little practice amp is called the PG05 5-watt guitar amplifier. And it's generic. If you want to make this, just look for something that looks similar to this one. You don't need to have the name or anything. They all come in this shape and they are generic. One thing that is important is this symbol right here. Right there. It shows that this is a 9-volt DC and it is center minus or ground. Those things are important to follow along. Nothing else really matters. Now, one thing that is important to know, and I think I've already said one thing that is important, but there are two things. The amp is generic. It's a mass-produced little thing that is just, you put whatever name you want on it. Doesn't really matter. They're all the same. That's what I've found out about them anyway. The next thing is, you don't have to put it into one of these, but in this video, my goal for myself is to, except for switching out this foot switch here, I'm gonna use only the parts in this, which you don't have to do, but that's what I'm gonna do. And that means that I'm gonna reuse this 9-volt in here for the DC and this power jack here for your cable, and I'm gonna reuse this cord here. Where is the end of it? To plug into my amp. So we'll have this cord be our output, basically. And you don't have to build it that way, but I'm gonna do it because I think it's kind of fun to try and see what happens, but also because I have built a lot of pedals on the channel, and a lot of the work that goes into building a pedal, especially if you're turning something into a pedal and you're not, you know, doing a motherboard and designing things yourself, is a lot of it is the same. It's just the way it is. And if I'm gonna be honest with you for a second, it's not super fun to do the same thing over and over again. So today's channel challenge, I don't know what I'm trying to say, is not just building this into a pedal, it's also taking these two things and mashing them together and finding something new and cool and seeing what happens. And see if it's cool, see if I like it, see if it turns out great. And yeah, that's gonna be it, I think, for an intro. It's already way too long. And so let's jump into this and just see what happens. And then in the end, we'll also listen to it. And hopefully this turns into something cool. So yes, let's start off by taking this apart and showing you the insides of both of these things. Okay, so let's start off by taking some of these screws out. Yes, just remove them from the back. And then up here, we have a couple of screws as well. Now, before we take everything out, I just want to show you it so that you know what it is you're going to look for. These things can look a little bit different. You might have a metal one of these, you might have a black one of those, or plastic one of those. The knobs might be a little bit different looking, but the overall shape will be the same. It will be a 5-watt little amplifier with a 9-volt in on the side and guitar in and headphone on the side, and then it will have this little indentation here and the knobs in this configuration, you know. So if you're looking for something similar and you can't find exactly what I'm holding here, don't worry, it will have basically all of this, and they're just the same. There's really nothing to it, just generic looking, you know, same as everything else kind of thing. So here we have some cables and the inside. And now we're just going to start taking this apart. So, yeah, let's do it. Let's start by trying to remove this thing here. This one we can just plug out. And here we have some wires to the DC. Let's start by removing this thing here. And these to the battery we can just cut off because we're not going to use them. If you can, if you want to. And here you can see that the 3 lugs, because I know some people have asked me about the middle leg on the DC jacks and why I'm always ignoring it, and that's because that's for the battery. And some of you really want to do the whole battery thing, but I don't wanna. So yeah, there you have it. We can cut these wires to the speaker, and I'm gonna keep all the screws from this to the side so that if I ever need them I can reuse them. I have a lot of parts, and a lot of the parts that I have are actually just from projects that I've just taken apart. So you don't necessarily need to always buy stuff, you can sometimes just recycle stuff. Which obviously is from things you've bought, so I don't know if that made any sense to anyone. You have the tiny little speaker. I don't think we'll ever use it in anything, but maybe we will. You never know. Wires that goes to the switch, which we're not going to use this switch obviously because it's not, there's no point. And we'll plug those out as well. Now we got this whole thing out. Ta-da! And we are going to reuse some of that, obviously, as I've already said. Now let's see if we can get this out. Or is it going the other way, maybe? No, it's not. Okay, so we have to break these off, which is not that hard because they were not really glued in. I mean, they were glued in, but the weakest glue in the world was being used. It's not even... Didn't even have to try. And here we have the actual amp. And this can be put to the side. We don't need it anymore for this video. Maybe we'll use it at some point. I don't think so, but we'll maybe. And look at that. Ta-da! And as you can see, these lamps, and I am not completely sure when these sort of were being made or anything like that, but they're not that old. And you can see they're basically all 3-hole mounted, so we can definitely have some fun and mod this and work on this and make this into something. Oh, it's that annoying kind of sticky glue thing, tape that is leaves residue on everything it touches. Ugh, gross, 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 gross. I hate it. Ugh. 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 So it leaves a weird coating on your fingers and it's just super gross. The switch, we can just... It has these little tabs up here, which I don't know if you can see them. It's kind of hard, maybe. But if you press them in, and there's one on each side of the switch, you should be able to fiddle this out. It can be a little bit fiddly, but it's not that bad. I say it's not that bad and then I can't get it out. Typical me to be like it's not a big deal and then struggle with it myself. There we go. I got it out in a somewhat dangerous way. And I have that film on my fingers. Ugh, it's so gross. Okay, let's see if we can get these knobs off. It shouldn't be that hard. Just turn the knobs while pressing it out, and it goes. I don't know if you can even see what I'm doing. I'm sorry if you can't. There we go. Ah. And I lost one of the rings. I'm gonna have to go look for it. But anyway, we can put this to the side, or actually what we can do is we can get this one off. Because I don't think we're gonna use this. But we might use this one, because I think this might be cool to just go take these and snip them off. Like so. This one is... It would be cooler if this was an actual metal thing that it's supposed to look like. It's kind of dull and boring, which is kind of sad. But I'm thinking, what if we just go something like that, you know? And it doesn't really fit, so... But this one fits, right? Yeah, I think this one will fit. Will it fit in that way though? I think it will. I think we will make this work somehow. It has a weird little wire like that. I suppose this is some sort of ground thing. And this sticker here is probably one of those things that you're not supposed to. Can't really get it off. Never mind. We're gonna leave that sticker there for now, because I can't be bothered with it right now. I'll look into it later. But anyway, there you have it. If you want to take a good look at it and pause and go just drooling over this, which, to be honest, I don't really know if there's a point to drool over this. Okay, so I tried to just see what happened if I cut this to size. And as you probably can tell, I cut right into the circle for the knobs, and I cut right into the name. And so we're not going to use this because it's kind of just... I don't know, what's the point, you know? It's not going to work very well for us. But it's not a great loss because this is just flimsy plastic, and I wasn't in love with it. I think that having like a brass plate up here with the knobs on, and it looks really, you know, nice and cool. I think that would be nice and cool. Yes. That doesn't make any sense. Forget that sentence. But what I mean is, you know, it would be cool to have that look. I think that would work. Now I just need to find a screwdriver that fits this, and we'll open this up as well. Okay, so I managed to get the screws out, and here you can see the insides. And one thing that is fun, which has nothing to do with this, because this is just, you know, a switch with two wires, and it's basically just cutting from that to that or something. You know, it doesn't matter. But one thing that's interesting here is that you can see that this was served or badled the 18th of September 1995. So I managed to find something old. Yeah, it's horrible to say that anyone from 95 is old, but that's true. You're all old. Really, 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 really old. But anyway, now that we got that out of the way, we can just cut these wires, because we're not going to use this switch, because for what we're doing we have to remove this switch. It's the only thing we can't really use. So pull this out. It has this little clip-on thing for the wire, and so yeah, we are gonna reuse this clipper, and we're gonna reuse this wire. But we're gonna shorten it, because as you probably already know, it's ridiculously long, and it's already tangled up. Like, I've had this out here for, I don't know, 5 seconds or something, and it's already a complete disaster. And I have to fold this up, which you can't see that I'm doing, but I'm struggling with this wire, or cable rather, because it's not a wire, but ooh, look how long it is. Like, why? Why? Let me know if you got that reference, the why reference, because I think it's funny, but I'm not actually sure anyone gets it. Now we're just on shwoobity boobity. yeah. There you have it. Super fast and super quick and super easy. And we can use this for something else at some point. You know, it's not the end of the world. You can just put the little thing together again and put it to the side. Okay, so the next thing to do is to drill some holes in this top for the new controls. And I'm gonna put down some tape like this. And there was my cat breaking in. For some reason, he ignores me, except for when I'm making videos. Then I'm the most interesting person in the world. And now, I'm just gonna use this as a template to try and align these things correctly and put them somewhere around there, I think. Yeah, it's gonna be a little bit off because, yeah, it's just gonna be a little bit off because of the controls. And because of the board, you know, they're a little bit off. That's the way it's going to go in, I think. And yeah, I'll be back once I've drilled these holes out. So, I'm getting ready to drill out these holes. And I am just going to show you. I put down some tape. I measured out where this one is going to be. And the hole there was already there. All I had to do to make it fit was widen it a tiny bit with a file so it could be popped in there. And then I just popped it in there and I measured out how far it goes and I lined this with that and I pushed it back as far as I think it's gonna be willing to go. If it doesn't fit perfectly, I'm gonna have a little bit of an issue, but I might be able to just sand this back just a tiny bit. Obviously this plastic thing here is staying on for now, but if I have to get rid of it, I will. And then I just put this template up there, and now I have markings for where I want to drill, so I'm gonna just drill those real quickly. If you don't know how to drill an enclosure, I've already made a video on that, and you can find it on the channel, so I'm not gonna jump into that now. I'm just gonna drill these holes. And I am gonna have to, which I really didn't want to do, because I wanted to have 3 holes up here, you know, the in, the DC and the out, but I'm gonna have to move them to the side, I think, because I am having trouble fitting all of these things up here when this board is gonna be up here as well. It's gonna be too tight. As you can probably tell, this jack here sticks into it too far. Now, one way of solving this would be to move these pots around and have them like that so that the board could lie flat. But, as you probably can see, then that hole there would be covered. So, I would have to do things a little bit different. Now, I could put them like this and have these holes up here drilled instead. Which maybe actually could be better. I'm not sure, to be perfectly honest, what would be coolest or best. Maybe having them like that would be better. God damn it, now I'm confused. I'm going to take a pause, actually, before I drill those holes. And think about, maybe I want all controls up here. See you in a bit. Okay, so here it is, right now. And, as you can see, I've drilled some holes. And now, I'm going to push this cable here with this clamp-on thing into the hole. I'm gonna try my very best to get it in there because it's gonna be very fiddly and it's gonna be very hard to do, or at least I assume that it will be. I'm not sure if I'll be able to do it on camera because I might be a bit too far away from it myself to see what I'm doing. Because obviously the camera is in a way from my head. So I'm gonna see if I can get it in there. This is one of those things that is complicating everything for myself. Dropping everything. I'll be back in a second because I don't think I can do this in front of the camera. It was a little bit harder than I want to admit, But as you can see, the wire is in place. And I did cut this down. I cut it in about half. And so here it looks from the other side. It'll be the output. Whew. And now we can try to fiddle this in here, for example. Maybe? I don't know. We'll see if... Oh. I can't fit that in there because I need to drill that out a little bit more. But yeah, I'll be back real soon when I've done that. I want to just point one thing out. This circuit here will fit in here under and go through these holes here, or at least that's the point. And you have to be really careful with that, so that you really drill the holes in the right place, so that everything fits perfectly. You can't really move any of this without like disordering things and moving things about. So yeah, just wanted to put that out there when it comes to like drilling holes for something. Really be careful and do a good job of making sure everything is in its right place. So this LED here is not going to be on the back, it's going to be on the front. I've drilled a little hole for it, and so we're going to have to move it. And there are the two connections, and I've made a little plus sign just to help myself not be too confused when I flip everything around. And I'm just going to put a wire there, like so, and I'm just going to put a wire there as well, like so. Now, if I turn this around, like so, I have two wires. Did I do all of that without seeing it? If you didn't see what I did, I'm sorry. It's kind of hard. I have to look up to see what I'm doing. But I'm cutting these legs off now, like so. And you could put in whatever LED you want to, but I'm going to put this back in because, as I've said already, we're going to try to not switch anything out. So these can now be, actually, you know what? I have them like that, but they're going to go like that. So give me a sec. I'm just going to reattach them the opposite direction because it's actually a little bit silly having them like this. Maybe not necessary, but you know. This is going in to the pedal now, like this. Yes, like this. And yeah, it's a little bit tight. I might have to rethink this a little bit, but you can see those cables will go neatly there. Okay, so I had issues getting it in because it was hitting this, so I cut these down a little bit, and I cut those two legs off and only kept those two, which I soldered wires to, and I've also bent them back a little bit. You could argue that this is very unprofessional of me to do, but I'm not a professional, you know, I'm not. So, I mean, argue with me if you want to, but it's not going to do you any good. I understand that the best thing would have been to put this into a bigger enclosure where things actually could fit, but that's like no fun. Now it is in place, and hopefully we can get this in place as well. Can you see that? Yeah, you can, or at least I hope you can. Just add these washers back. Okay, so with a little bit of tin and a little bit of luck and love, at least I hope so, we should be able to attach this LED, one leg to that wire there, positive, and oh, this is so fiddly to do in the camera, and one leg to the other, like so. It's basically just, you know, it is exactly where it is or was. It's just a little bit of a jumper. Now, just gonna poke it in here, like so, and yeah, pull these cable in here to the side so they don't get stuck when I close this. But But there it is. It's gonna hopefully stay there. I think I'm gonna put something down, like a little bit of tape or something to hold it in place. I'm gonna screw in a true bypass switch there, and yeah, then we'll start wiring this up. But first I have to find one. So let's hope I can find one. I've put the switch in place, and before I did, I pre-tinned all the connections, and I put a little jumper cable between these two legs right here. If you've seen any of my other build videos, you know that this wire here is the true bypass. And so now we just need to pull this wire over here and give ourselves, and this is the input, and we're just going to split it in half, like so. And we are going to take this end, and we're going to strip it back, and we're going to pre-tin it, and we're going to attach it here in to the middle leg, like so. Then we're going to do the same thing for this output wire here, which is a little bit annoying because I didn't make it long enough. I thought I did, but I didn't. So I'm going to have to fix that. Okay, so I might have actually screwed myself a little bit. Let me explain. I can't move this. This thing clamping it in place is on there. I'm never going to be able to get it out. I really tried, can't get it out. So I had to splice in a cable here. If you don't know how to do that, basically you take two wires, you strip them back, and then you twine them into each other and solder them in place, and then you put a heat shrink over, and you're good to go. It's not, I don't know, I wouldn't recommend maybe doing that. But anyway, that's the way it is right now. Because, yeah, this was supposed to be a fun thing, and I was thinking that I would replace this later down the line and have two jacks, but I seriously don't think I'll ever be able to get it out, because I've been struggling for half an hour now and it's not moving a bit. Anyway, with all of that out of the way, this wire from the output jack, which is what I would probably recommend that you all do, and don't, you know, repeat my mistakes or crazy failures, that's going there. So in goes there, and out goes there. And then you can select if you want to go through the bypass or into the effect. This wire here is getting connected up here. Whew. Gotta be honest with you, I'm kind of tired now. So I'm gonna connect this wire here and take a little break, because I'm exhausted myself. There we have that wire. Let's move on. Okay, so this might be a little bit difficult to see, but I have reattached the plug-in here for the power, and I have the two wires going there, and the black one, which is this one, goes there, and the red one goes here. And I'm going to pull the red wire over here and try to find a nice spot to cut it in half. And I'm going to strip back this right there, pre-tin it, and I'm going to push it into this upper leg right here, like so. Then I'm going to take the other one, and I'm going to pull this one over to the switch as well. Hope you can see what I'm doing. Gonna have it go under all these cables. It's a little bit of a nest of cables. I've forgotten words. Rat's nest is what I'm trying to say. Cut it off and strip this back, and I'm gonna pre-tin it, and I'm gonna put it in there as well. So there it is. And if we turn down the lights like so, and we plug in power, the LED there should turn on when the pedal turns on. And it does. I don't know if you can make out a difference in the video. But there it goes. Now the reason why I did that way is because it's kind of an easy way to do it. And I've had questions on the LM board videos how to make it actually turn off with the switch and not just be true bypassed. And so because I'm not gonna build that pedal again just to show that, I thought I'd show it here. You can just split the signal with the switch. Basically, it goes there or they are connected. Super easy. Now let's move on. This ground wire here and this ground wire here, they're gonna get twisted together and sorted together. And then this wire here is gonna get attached, which I hope you can see me attaching it. It is a little bit fiddly up here, like so. We just have this connector here that is connected up here and there, and that's gonna get plugged in here, like so. Now I just need to put this LED back in its place. I'm gonna put, I don't know, a dab of super glue or something just to hold it in place. Give me a sec, I need to put some shrink tube there and put some tape there. Okay, so I did a mistake. I blame the fact that I can't really pay attention to what I'm doing. This one is not going in there. And this one is not going in there. They're supposed to go on opposite sides, which is going to be a problem for me. This one is super easy to pull over there, but this one is going to be super annoying because the wires are in the wrong place. So I'm going to have to start up the soldering iron, and I'm going to have to put on jumper cables on these so that I can pull it over there. As you can probably tell, it's just a tiny bit too short. Would be cool if I could just pull it over there, but I can't. Whoops. Just a small little hiccup, and we're gonna solve it by just moving this wire. Yes, there it is. So we just need to heat the soldering iron up and move this cable. Goes from the side over here, and in this I can't speak, in this rat nest of cables, it's getting attached over there. And now the orientations are correct. Well, here it is. And I gotta be honest with you, I'm really enjoying this. This is super cool. It has a vintage old feel to it. Obviously the logo needs to go at some point because I can't keep that. It's not right, it's all wrong, but I'm gonna definitely be inspired by that logo and put on something new that look vintage. This is my first vintage pedal that I've built, at least. I'm sorry, that was not funny for anyone else than me. But anyway, thanks so much for watching. I hope you liked it. If you did, don't forget to press the like button, the subscribe button, and ring the bell for notification. Check me out on Instagram. If you want to build this thing and you need help, you talk to me either in the comments below or on Instagram if you are getting stuck. Yeah, let's jump in to listening to this now. And yeah, this has diode clippings. We didn't talk about it or looked into the circuit anything in this video, but if you looked closely you could see it. And I think we're going to change that out. I think we're going to have a lot of fun in the future. Let me know if that's something you want to see, because then maybe I'll do it. I mean, show you it. I mean, I won't show you unless you want to see it. Unless you don't want to see it. I was about to say, unless you want to see it. Ooh, it's late, I'm tired. Gotta get up early tomorrow and do a dance. So, yeah, we're gonna listen to it now and see what it sounds like. But I gotta say, I'm enjoying this. I think it's cool. I think it's really nice. So yeah, hopefully we will return to it at some point. But anyway, that's the end of this video. Thanks so much for watching. Until next time, stay awesome and cool. And don't forget to go and build this thing and get confusing in the comments below. think I got a little bit too excited there, but that's okay, because that's a sign that you built something good. So, yeah.